Okay, Shalom, Yasharallah. All praise to Yahweh. This is your brother, PARASHAH, servant of Yahweh Shai, and servant of our Malak Dawad, King David. The next new moon is going to be February, so-called February 3rd. That's the next new moon. Okay? And Passover is going to be so-called April 18th to the 19th, sunset to sunset. That's first day, the holy day. And the last day is going to be April 24th to April 25th, sunset to sunset. It's also a holy day. Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay? So, we're dealing with this is the 6-day ALIYAH of PARASHAH Bo, which is Exodus chapter 12, verses 29 through 51. Okay? So, Torah portion. And I think that some of the misunderstandings that we have about the Torah, about a lot of different doctrines, can be easily settled if we read the words inside the book. Okay? A lot of the things that we may not understand can be sorted out just by reading the Torah. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to sort out a lot of things that have been misunderstood. Okay? A lot of things that have been misunderstood. But of course, like I said, the Torah clears a lot of things up. Gives us a lot, a better perspective. Okay? Gives us a better perspective. So we're going to start with verse 29 of Exodus chapter 12. And it came to pass at midnight. Okay, midnight is in the middle of the night. Okay, ba chatzaya halayla, middle the night. So this is literally saying the middle of the night. Okay. And it came to pass at midnight that Yahweh smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and every firstborn animal. Nobody was exempt. And Pharaoh arose at night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great outcry in Egypt, for there was no house in which no one was dead. So Yahweh started bringing judgment, and people started dying Now they wish they would have listened to the commandments. Now they wish that the Most High would have spared them. Now they wish that they wouldn't have followed after the African Hamite way of thinking and doing things. The Gentile way always leads to what? Death. The way of Yahweh leads to life. Any Gentile doctrine that we follow, whether it's from Africa, whether it's from Asia, whether it's from America, it always leads to death. It always leads to death. All right? So don't follow those ways. So Pharaoh, his children, his baby, dead now. All right? All of the servants in Egypt, children are dead. And the same thing's going to happen in America. America, the firstborn, are going to die of the Gentiles that are living in America. The plagues of Egypt will come upon America. Modern Egypt. Verse 31. So he called for Marshah and Aharon at night, and he said, "Get up and get out from among my people, both you as well as the children of Yasharallah, Banya Yasharallah, and go. Worship Yahweh as you have spoken." Now notice in the middle of the night, right here, Khatzaya Halayala. Khatzaya ba Khatzaya means in middle. Halayala means the night. So it's dark out. Remember Genesis chapter 1, the darkness is the night. So here again, at nighttime, okay, same word, layala. So at nighttime, still dark. Chapter 30, verse 31, once again. So he called for Marshah and Aharon at night. Same night concept, still nighttime, still dark. So he said, "Get out of my country." So the king, all right, the Kemet, the original Kemet master, the original Kemetic master, he mad because Yahweh had death throughout his country, on the people and on the animals, the rats, the mice, the cows, the birds, the dogs, the cats, death on every firstborn. Verse 33. So the Egyptians took hold of the people to hasten to send them out of the land, for they said, "We are all dead." Right here. Kalnawa Mathiam. I mean, if y'all don't leave here, we're going to die. The people picked up their dough when it was not yet leavened. Their leftovers bound in their garments on their shoulders. So it's not yet leavened. All right. That's where they have chametz. Okay. So, and the children of Yasharallah did according as Marshah ordered. Marshah's order, and they borrowed, quote unquote, from the Egyptians silver objects, gold objects, and garments. All right, so it says that they borrowed, but they took it. Wa banya Yasharallah, Aishawa, Khadabar, they did. Khadabar as spoke Marshah, Wa Yasharallah. Mamatayim. Scripture says that they asked, because remember Shaul right here, all right, means to believe. Shaul is like to ask or to petition, all right. And they gave them to him. Silver, gold, okay? Kasap, silver. Zahab. So they left with clothes. Silver and gold. 36. Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of the Egyptians, and they lent them, and they emptied out Egypt. All right, so all those years of being on the bottom, all those years of working for nothing, all those years of being oppressed, got compensated from Yahweh, not from the Gentiles. Yahweh made it so that we got physical wealth from the people that did us wrong. All right? So we got the silver and the gold, all of the things that we needed, we wanted. All right? The children of Yashala journeyed from Ramesses. Now, Ramesses to Sukkoth, about 600,000 on foot, the men, which is Hagabadi, like the soldiers, a fit man, besides the young children. So when it says Ramesses, that Ramesses is going to, it was called Ramesses afterwards. All right, at this time is approximately, all right, this time is approximately about 1446, 1447 BC, all right, or BCE, before the Common Era. That's when the whole ordeal is taking place. So now remember, the Egyptian capital changed. It changed. It was at Thebes at one point, and then it went further north. I believe the way you would say that the place where it went to is gonna be like a word like see if you can remember it, like Avaron, not Avatar, okay, not Avatar, but it's a word. Ramesses was the name that was put on that place years later, because the old name had fallen, you know, out of practice, out of use. Just like Washington, D.C. You don't know what Washington, D.C. was called before it got changed to D.C. So when people talk about that place in the literature, you know, they're going to say D.C. because that's the name that it's called by now. Just like Ramesses was called Avaris or Avarice. Ramesses was called Avaris. Okay, Ramesses was called Avaris. Because now remember, in the 12th, take notes, in the 12th dynasty, okay, Avaris or Avaris was the capital of Egypt in the north part of the country right here. That's where the central city was where Pharaoh lived at. All right. Pharaoh was communicating with Moses on like a daily basis. A lot of on some of these instances, he would leave and go back, leave and go back. It's capital city. As opposed, you know, when you go further back, when you go into like the 18th dynasty, which they try to say this is when the Exodus took place, the capital city wasn't Ramesses, wasn't Avaris. It was Thebes, which was miles away from Goshen. So this place, Ramesses, is right near Goshen. Okay? This place, Ramesses or Avaris, is right near Goshen. Now, Thebes, which was the capital during the 18th dynasty, all right, roughly years prior, all right, 200-300 years prior, Thebes is far away from Goshen. All right, so it's 600,000 Gabarim, men fit for war. Right now, And also a great mixed multitude went up with them, and flocks and cattle, very much livestock. All right. So here it is, right here. It says Wagam and also Irab, which means mixed. Um, Rab, a great mixture. Elah went up. Okay. So a great mixture, meaning what? Different people. All of the people that saw the, remember, once they saw that hell come down, people were saying, Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, is the true God. So we need to follow after what he is saying we need to do if we want to live. So the people started following what Moses was telling them Yahweh said. And they joined unto us. And also when we left, there were other servants that were in the land of Goshen area besides us. So when we left, they joined themselves unto us also. All right. Now let's get going. They baked the dough that they had taken out of Egypt as unleavened bread, unleavened cakes. All right. Matzawath, right there. For it had not, leavened right here, chametz. All right. It had not leavened, for they were driven out of Egypt, and they could not tarry, and also they had not made provisions for themselves. So we left out hastily. Okay. Now, and the habitation of the children of Yasharallah that they dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. Now, this is what I want to do real quick. This is what I want to do. All right. I want to go someplace real quick. I want to clear this up because people don't always understand things. So let's go here. All right. Everybody stay with me. Now, this right here is this right is what you call, it's an app, or not an app, but it's a website called Step Bible. And a lot of y'all can't really see some. You might not be able to see this as well. So let me see if I can pull it in a little bit. Let me see if I can pull it in a little bit. Help. All right, so let me see if I could help a little bit. Looking at this verse 40. Real quick. That's what I wanted. So bam, we're in the right place now. Let's try to reconnect. All right, Google, we still connected. Still connected on Google. Facebook, let's go ahead and reconnect. So we're still trying to reconnect. Hopefully let's reconnect. We still on are you all yeah, it looks like it's connecting. Um that one's messed up again. So now we gotta come and do a part 2 on Facebook. So Google, YouTube, don't go nowhere. Okay, so we're back on again. All right, so we're still trying to get this together. Bear with it. All right, bear with it. Be a little patient. Be a little patient. Okay? Be a little patient. Almost there. Everybody's doing good. Almost there. All right, so what we're trying to do is I'm going to show you the differences. Now, some of you can see the Hebrew on the screen. Some of you can't. What I'll do is the Hebrew that I'm focusing on, I'll bring it over to the first column over here on the left. Okay. Okay, so I'll just bring this all the way over here. Not that one. I'll bring it all this SP over here. Update it. So we're gonna go into it in a minute. We're gonna just wait a few moments. We're gonna wait a minute before we really go into it, so you understand why I went from Exodus 11 and 40, Exodus 12 and 40, and over here real quick. Okay. So just hold tight. Okay. Just hold tight for a minute. Be patient. Almost there. Just giving some more brothers and sisters a chance to join in with us. That's all we doing. Don't trip too hard. All right, so we're gonna get started in a minute. Finish up on this part 2 of the 5th day ALIYAH PARASHAH Bo, Exodus Exodus 12 verse 29 through 51, dealing with death, riches, Gentile converts, and 430 years. And right now we're in verse 40. In verse 40, it talks about the time that we were in Egypt. And I wanted to bring it out from the Torah, but there's different translations of the Torah, and there's different versions of the Torah. Okay. Now, this is the version of the Torah that most people are familiar with, right here, which is the Masoretic text. Most people are familiar with this one. Okay. But this one, the Samaritan Pentateuch, which precedes this one was first. This one was second. This one agrees with the rest of the books, like Galatians 3:17, and it says 430 years. This one doesn't agree with Galatians 3:17. and it says 430 years. All right, so it's been about 6 minutes, so hopefully people had enough chance to get on. Now remember that the next new moon is going to be February 3rd. The Feast of Unleavened Bread and Passover is going to be April 18th to April 19th at sunset. And the last day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, will be April 24th to April 25th. Okay? So now what we want to do is go back into the scripture and show you. When you look in your English Bible, it says that the sojourning of the children of Israel in the land of Egypt was 430 years. Now, when we look over here, it says sojourning and sojourned the children or sons of Israel and their fathers which or that they sojourned in the land of Canaan and in land Baratzah, Mitzrayim, Matizadium. Then it says Shalashim Shana, which means 30 years. And Arbai Ma'awaf, and 400 Shana. You see that? Hope everybody saw that. The older translations of the Torah say that we sojourned in the land of Canaan and in Egypt for 430 years. The newer translation of the Torah say that we dwelt in Egypt for 430 years. But the older versions agree with what we see in Galatians chapter 3, verse 17. When Paul says that from Moses getting the promise to us being given the law from Moses, from Yahweh, from Abraham being given the promise. Abraham got the promise until the time that we came out of Egypt with Moses and got the commandment from Moses. Paul says that that total period was 430 years. Where did he get that number from? He got it because the Torah that he was reading said from Canaan to us coming into out of Egypt was 430 years. All right. That's what I wanted to point out right here. And then it says, let's go back. We can go back. Well, we can stay here for a little while, just in case we need to clear anything else up. And then it says that, and it came to pass at the end of 430 years, even the self-same day, it came to pass that all the host of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt. So 430 years after the Most High gave the promise to Abraham, on that day was the 15th day. Now listen, this is what we want to understand. Now we're going to get into the doctrine of the day and the night and when the day begins. All right? It is a night to be much observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of Yahweh to be observed of all the children of Yasharallah in their generation. So forever and ever we'll observe this. This, and Yahweh said to Mashah and to Aharon, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. The stranger right now is the person, in the scripture rather, is the person that is not an Israelite. Okay, but every man's servant that is bought for his money When thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. So if you have a servant, and you want the servant to keep the Pesach, he can, but he has to be circumcised. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. Okay. This is Shab. Person that just kind of want to visit for a minute. Wa Chakiyar. Person that's just coming in just to do a job for you, just hired on, all right, to do some work. Hired servant, they call it. All right. So if you're not locked into an Israelite family, Israelite way of life, if you're not locked into that zone, you're not supposed to be eating the Passover. In one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. Don't break the bones, keep it whole. And they were supposed to make sure that everything stayed in the house. All the congregation of Yashar Allah shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee. So it says, Wakaya Yagawar. All right. Yagawar Athka guard. So if a stranger, this foreigner, wants to stay there for a long period of time. All right. He's trying to be a resident of Israel. All right. Got his green card. Okay. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh. This sometimes the strangers, the Gentiles, could keep the Passover. They wanted to walk in the way of righteousness. So they could keep the Passover with the children of Yashar Allah. So they converted. They said, we want to serve your God. We want to keep the commandments that were given to you. We want to celebrate your freedom with you. So that's what they did. They had to be circumcised, though. Circumcision, we know, represents coming into covenant with Yahweh. So these people came into covenant. Right? These men came into covenant with Yahweh. They came into covenant. And let him come near and keep it. And he shall be born as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So he can keep the Passover just as if he was a natural born Israelite. Now the Most High comes back and tells you in verse 49, one law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So one law for us and for the stranger that wants to come among and live. Now this word stranger is a person that does not have a legal, lawful, rightful possession or claim to the land. This is the same word that was used with Abraham when he was in the land of Midian. Okay. Thus did all the children of Yashar Allah, as Yahweh commanded Mashah and Aharon, so did they. And it came to pass the self same day that Yahweh did bring the children of Yashar Allah out of the land of Egypt by their armies. So that day we came out. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I know today's supposed to be ending in verse 51. But I'm going to jump forward. Let's go to chapter 13 real quick. And let's check out what happened. Month of Abib. Now we know that when we came out was going to be on what day? The 15th day. All right. But the Most High said, this day came ye out in the month of Abib. So why is he saying you came out in a day? See, this Hayawam. Hayawam, which means the day. So this day came you out. So Hayawam Wa'atam, and you are Yatzayam. Came out Bakhadash in month Ha'abyab. Okay, the month of growth. So notice what he said though. Now we clearly left Egypt at night. But the Bible is saying we left Egypt in a day. Because the day consists of evening and morning, darkness and light in the full aspect. But we know in a light aspect that they call, when the light is out, they call that what? Daylight. They call that daylight. They show Marakat, ALIYAH. They call that daylight. So you have a doctrine floating around now, like people don't know when the day starts. The Sabbath starts at noon. Sabbath starts at sunrise, because that's the quote unquote day. Well, you see right here, it says, this day came ye out in the month of Abib. Now let's go back. Now we're getting into Torah doctrine. Let's go back to chapter 12. All right. Keep it to the 14th day of the month. All right. Keep it for 14th day of the month. And then he says, keep this feast as a memorial. Once again, this self-same day have I brought you out. He says, I brought you in a day. The 14th day of the month at even, which is closing the 14th day. All right. After the morning, now is the evening, going toward the end. Until the 1 and 20th day of the month at even. All right. 20th day you in it. Now it's going toward the evening. The day is ending. But let's get the point though. Okay. Let's see where we left out. Right here. At midnight, Yahweh smote the firstborn. He says, Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants. And when Pharaoh rose up, he said, get you forth from among my people. They said, get out. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people. There was no whole bunch of, half a day passed. They left at nighttime. Right? They left at night. All right. The Most High said, the Passover at midnight. Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night. So now we in the 15th day, because the 14th day just ended. And we know, going into the law of Passover that we see in the book of Leviticus, it says that the 15th day of Abib, 15th day of the first month. So when we read the Torah, a lot of these doctrines are spelled out. A lot of these doctrines are clarified. Because here we see they came out at night. We left at night. Now, we already discussed the 430 years. Now, remember, your Bible, your King James Bible, it says this. It says, and the sojourning of the children of Israel that sojourned in Egypt was 430 years. That's what it says in your King James Bible from the Masoretic text, which we have up here, okay? Which is from the Leningrad Codex, which is from the Masoretic Hebrew Tanakh. Now over here, it says, and sojourned the children of Israel and their fathers that sojourned in the land of Canaan and in the land of Egypt, Matazarium, 430 years. There's a difference. But like we said earlier, Paul, hey, shalom, 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 Moshe Yahuda Yisrael. Hallelujah. Much love to you, Zaquan. Much love to you. So as we see here, those 430 years was divided up between Canaan and Egypt. When you look at the older Torah text that we have. Now this one is the Samaritan Pentateuch. Okay? Samaritan Pentateuch. And when you go over, it shows you, hey, the word is missing. Like you see this word over here, the dwelling, the sojourning, children, Israel, and their fathers. See that? Which sojourn in the land of Canaan. In the land of Canaan, see? And the land of Egypt. So you talk about Egypt right here and Canaan right there. So that 430 years was divided up between Canaan and Egypt. From when Paul, talked about it in the book of Galatians chapter 3, verse 17. Verse 16, actually. Let's see if we can go there real quick and come back to Exodus 12. Galatians 3. Let's just do Galatians 3. Of course, we don't have no King James Bible right there. We'll just pull it up. We'll do a 1769 with the Apocrypha. I don't want to take out all of these other versions, though. I don't want to take out all these other books, and that's what it's going to make me do. So we'll just not go there right here, okay? So now you see that that month is the beginning of the month, and we see that we left out at dark time, and we see that it was considered to be a day when we left out. Okay, it was considered to be a day. So even though we left out at darkness, it was still considered to be a yawam, right? It was still considered to be a yawam. So that's pretty much this 12th chapter of Exodus, for the Shabbat, for the 6-day reading, rather. Right? But again, we left out on the 15th day. Okay, we left out on the 15th day. But it's calling it a night and it's calling it a day. So that doesn't mean that the day starts when the sun comes up. That means that we have two different kinds of days. We got in Genesis chapter 1, we got to read that, verses 4 and 5. Okay? We got to read verse 4 and 5. So once we read it once again, it puts the emphasis on the 14th day. All right. Now listen to what it says. It says, "And be to you all lamashemarath, a protecting, a preserving, shamar, which means shamar, shah, ma, and ra, or shan, mayam, and ra'ash. Aid, generations." All right. Or until, keep it until Arbai is 4, Ishad 10, Yawam. All right. Keep it until the 14th day. La Kadash, 14th day of the month. Okay. Keep it until the 14th day of the month. So keeping it until the 14th day of the month, look what it said right here. And they shall eat the flesh in that night. What night? The night when the 14th day is over, going to the 15th day. That's why it says you kill it in the evening. So if the scripture says keep it until the 14th day, and then in the evening you kill it. Remember, there's 3 stages to evening, just like there's 3 stages to a twilight. You got nautical, astronomical, and civil. In the Bible, we got the same thing. So this says you keep it, you're going to kill it in the evening. In the evening. And when the sun's not fully gone down yet, you kill it. And then it tells you, you shall eat the flesh in that night. So you eat it at night, roast it with fire. But once again, the 14th day is over. You keep it until, the scripture right here is plain. It said keep it aid, which means until, as far as the 14th day. So when the 14th day is that 14th day is the last day you have it. You have it alive. Okay, you have it alive on the 14th day. By the time the 15th day comes in, which is going to be right here, in that night, the lamb is dead. Animal's been slaughtered because they got slaughtered in the evening of the 14th day. And once again, in that day, and then as that day was beginning to end, that's when you kill the animal. Okay, so that's why I say keep it. Keep the Passover from the first day until the 7th day. Right. So you have to keep this day as an ordinance. Scripture says, Chakwath Iwalam, so forever. And once again, he said, until the 21st day of the month, or the 1 and 20th day of the month. So it says, in the first month, on the 15th day of the month at even. So it says, Ba Yashwan, all right, in the first, it says Ba Adbai, okay, Ishad, so 4 and 10 Yawam day. So it says in the 14th day, La Kadash of the moon by Irab. So you're in that day. You're actually in the 14th day, which means now the 14th day have started. Then it says Akalawa. It says, actually, let me go back. So it says, in the evening, by Irab, in the evening, the 14th day in the evening, you eat unleavened bread. So now that's where you get into the ceremonial aspect of it. As the sun is going down, you eating this bread, right? And then you eat it. It says Takalawa, all right? Matazawat, eat that bread. I eat it. Once again, I meaning until Yawam Achad, until the day 1 Wa Ishadium, 1 and 2 tens. Ishad right here, Ishad right here, Ishadium. All right. So until the day 1 and 20. So until the 21st day, La Kadash, 21st day of the month, by Irab, in the evening. So when that evening is ending, that day is ending, you no longer you can start eating leavened bread. You don't have to just eat unleavened bread when that 7th day is over, which is the 21st day of the month at even. Okay. So, you know, that's pretty much it. You know, when it comes to the days, that's pretty much it. Not too much else that we can. Now remember, this all is leading up to Yahushua as our Passover lamb. Death has passed over us because his blood is in our hearts. So death is going to pass over us. That's what we got for today. Hope everything was clear and understandable. All right. Now, the next new moon is going to be February 3rd, Holy Day. All right. The next major holy day is going to be Passover, which is going to be April 18th at sunset to April 19th at sunset. And the last day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread that we're reading about right here, is going to be April 24th at sunset to April 25th at sunset. All right, so I hope everything was understandable and clear, and I hope your spirit can blend with it. May Yahweh be with you, and then may Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Signing off is your brother PARASHAH, servant of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, and servant of Malak Dawad, King David. And Shalom.